let's make something. So this is a departure from my regular content, and although the kitchen is not my thing, I can't make lactation balls because they require no cooking. So while we're here, let's talk about society's expectation on women. And while we do that, of course, it's already starting. Let's get a cup. Boom. While we do that, I will pour 2 cups oats. I should probably explain what lactation balls are. They're just like kind of a lot of sugar, but like with yeasts that are apparently good for lactation. You can't just pump. You can't just expect your body's gonna make milk. You have to kind of work at it. Yeah. 1, 2. Y'all are gonna come for me with my inability to measure things. It's not my fault. I was not taught cooking, and the reason is because exactly what this video is about. I was raised in a pro-feminist era where I was taught that I should focus on my career and don't worry about the kitchen. Just get that career going. The problem with that is now I don't know how to do anything in the kitchen, except for obviously do a really crappy job at mixing things together to make something that should be very simple. This is flaxseed. I think this is what's good for boob milk. I don't know. I saw it on the internet. Now, they don't say to do this, and this is probably where I go wrong, but I like to add other things in. We'll just see how it goes. Chia seeds. This has nothing to do with boob milk. Ooh. I think if I add a whole cup, that might be a problem. Too much fiber. And then brewer's yeast, because this is definitely something that I've been told is good for, I don't know. I don't even know how much this is. I'm just gonna put it in. It's good for something. I just totally lost track. I assume that that's gonna work. I dread the day that I have to cook for my kid. I was taught that you should focus on your career and then have a family, and that, you can probably do both, have a career and a family. But the problem isn't that you can't do both. It's that you're constantly torn. You're constantly in a state of conflict because you don't know which one you should choose to do more of. So I basically spent every day being completely torn between my 2 babies, my real baby and my work baby, which is pretty much art and design, and it's been my baby up until this point, so it's hard. I'm constantly in a mental battle with myself on, am I missing out on my child's first stages, or am I missing out on my work and my personal growth? And I think because we are all brought up in sort of a society of personal growth, not all of us millennials, there's a lot of people like me that are choosing themselves over having kids, which is why the birth rate is declining. And I chose to have kids because I always wanted to have kids, but I am very, very aware. Oh, I think that's too many. We can never have too many of that. I'm very aware of the fact that we'll just do a cup of these 2. Either way, one is going to suffer. And, I always just assumed that I would have help or nannies or whatever, but then you sit with your baby and you're just like, oh, what is more important than this? And the answer is nothing. No amount of designing I can do, no reputation I can build, nothing is more important than me being there and him seeing my face every day. Because, if you think back when you were a kid, what did you want to see more than anything? So I need to be there. I can't just peace out. And I'm lucky because right now I have my lovely partner who is taking care of our baby, so I can make my almost pure chocolate chip lactation cookies balls. But my brain is completely scattered constantly because nothing's ever good enough, right? The house is always in a complete state of disarray, in my mind at least, and my work is never getting done. I think we kind of got it wrong. I know why we did what we did. My grandmother, for example, didn't have a choice. She didn't get to decide to stay home. She had to stay home, and she had to stay home because she had to take care of the kids because the husband was at work. This is just pure chocolate. This isn't even oats anymore. I think I should add another thing of oats. This is out of control. This is the problem is as well, there's not an answer. There's not a solution. The only solution may be that we end up all getting robots. We get robots to help us with stupid chores like cleaning, and if you don't like to cook, like me, making these things, I don't need to be making this. If I had a robot doing this, would be freaking awesome. That might be the answer to modern motherhood, but as of right now, there's no answer. You just exist in a state of FOMO constantly. I do know a lot of mothers who farm out their motherly duties. For us, we decided to just bear through it, because if you think about it, you're delirious, but you're delirious together, and you only get to do this that tiny bit of time. And then what happens is you look back on that time and it's just precious. His little coos and us tapping in and out and just little things. And that's really just what life is. Even though life would be made more pleasant and more comfortable if we had a niner, I will forever look back at that period of time where we were tired and we were struggling, but we were struggling together. And I think it's why would I, sort of like exercising, why would I pay someone to work out for me? This next step calls for nut butter. I'm just gonna choose a little bit of cashew nut butter and then a little bit of peanut butter because it just seems like that's a good idea. And now you know why I'm a shitty cook. I need hardcore taste. I have no taste buds. Nobody knows why. I just never did. Which means I also can't smell very well, which is mildly dangerous if you think about it. Then you're supposed to stir the ingredients, which of course mine is looking very chocolatey. So yeah, it might have just been better if I just don't know the solution. I really don't, about how to handle this motherhood thing for other mothers. Part of the reason why I wasn't taught to cook is also the same sort of fractally self-similar issue as to why I'm struggling in this motherhood thing and why I can't just like do one or the other comfortably. Fuck it, just dumping it in. Who knows how much it is? Who cares? My thing's gonna be all melted and gross, but what can you do? Life is sometimes just melted and gross. So I get what my mom's generation was trying to do for us, but I also sort of just resent it because I wish, there's nothing you could have done. There's nothing anybody could have done because I had my son when I could have him, and it sucks that I'm conflicted personally about, spending time doing my career, which I love, and spending time with him, but at least I have both of them, right? And that's really what saves me from all of this like conflict, is just gratitude. And I think gratitude actually saves everybody from everything. Having a bad day, still have feet, stuff like that. It's actually the best consistency I've made. I know. There's just one wee little raisin. We can't leave him alone. He must be sacrificed with the rest of his friends. Okay, this next part requires me to make balls, which should be easy, but somehow, once again, I find ways to make these things very hard. I usually don't like to make them too big. Can't look bald. One thing I have found that really helps my partner and I, full transparency, we both work from home. We know how lucky we are. I am a commercial director, but my focus is in primarily design, animation, and visual effects. And that means is I don't have to be on set all the time, which affords me to be home and be very computer literate. Other thing about my particular situation is that we are very immersed in AI. So if you follow me, you will see that most of our content focuses on exploring or sharing ways we integrate AI into our lives. Still need a robot for that, easy peasy motherhood thing. Wow, I have to give myself credit. Consistency is beautiful. They're actual balls. Usually I'm like grinding away trying to get them to smush in together. I think part of the reason why I don't like cooking is because it's just so impermanent. It's like you put in all this work and you just eat it. And I don't know, artists keep things in galleries for like periods of time. Art tries to be permanent. Artists try to set styles and have legacies and inspire movements. And cooking, I'm sure, does the same thing, but then you eat it. So 4 hours later, we have a tray of balls. These go in the fridge until I'm ready to eat them, probably an hour. Honestly, I don't even know if this is like a universal problem or if it's just like a me problem, because I really love my projects, but I do think that everybody has an identity before they become a parent. Afterwards, you're sort of left in this limbo of your previous life and your current life, and you really want to be grateful for your current life, but you also sort of mourn your last life. And I don't think there's a solution. Thank you, grandmothers, for sticking it to the man and like giving us the option of having a choice, but I guess maybe we just need more robots.